A story about a chick I went to school with. So basically, I knew this chick like literally my whole life. I was friends with her brother, and our dads worked together at the same place. So I pretty much knew her whole life story. Anyways, growing up in school, she was overweight and she had like this really bad acne problem. She also had braces and glasses. She basically only had like a handful of friends. She was never popular in high school, but she wanted to be, oh so badly. So like her dad was this ex-bodybuilder type guy from the 80s. He was still high on his glory days, still pumping iron and trying to show off to all the ladies. He always viewed his daughter as like this big disappointment. She never became that popular kid like he was back in the 80s. High school was a very, very difficult time for her. She finished high school and did about 2 years at college. She was missing something though. There was something in her life she was missing out on. So basically one day, she just dropped out of college and moved out at the age of 22. In this stage in her life, she was starting to find herself. She was doing her makeup and covering up those old acne bumps and losing a little weight. She took a retail position and rented a room from a group of female roommates. She felt a sense of freedom at this point in her life. Everything was going good at her work until one day, a fellow walked into her store. One of these guys right here. He charmed her and he made her feel really special. And she felt like this sense of love for the first time in her life. And the next thing you know, the two are dating. Her old lease was up, so she decided to move in with him in the Bakersfield countryside. She then found out a few days later that he had a few roommates. It didn't take long for her to go from his chick to the whole household's chick. Basically, they all worshipped her. She looked pretty decent to them. Acne bumps and everything. They passed that sucker around like you wouldn't believe. They were just thrilled to have something so young and so semi-attractive living with them. They all did these type of activities right here for a solid 4 years in that house. And she was the one that hooked all these guys up with some V. That's right, she hooked them all up with some BAG. It was going on for about a solid 4 years. Getting high and then banging down every day for like 4 years straight. Then who would have thunk it? She actually got pregnant after that whole ordeal. Crazy, huh? She put on some weight and her acne bumps were starting to show through. And she was starting to be a burden to all their habits and lifestyles. So the guys kicked her out of the place. A few days later, she moves back in with her parents. After 4 long years of living in Bakersfield with all those dudes, she basically watches TV and eats for a solid 3 months at her parents' place while she's pregnant. She then has the baby. And then weeks later, she gets on social media to try to find a guy to date because she needs to move out soon. That's when she somehow comes across my profile. She then messaged me saying something like, "Oh my god, how have you been? We should catch up. Let's meet somewhere." And I'm like, whatever. Then I see that she has a kid. And then I message her back saying, "No thank you, acne bumps." And then I had matched the chick.